Well, Indianapolis ranks worst in the nation when it comes to food deserts. That's defined as low-income areas where a large share of residents have low access to supermarkets or large grocery stores. The Indiana Healthy Food Access Coalition is behind two bills aimed at curbing the state's food desert dilemma. American Heart Association Grassroots Director Naima Gardner and Telemon's Vice President of Business Development, Sunny Liu, are here to weigh in on the legislation, including what it means for Indiana business. And ladies, thank you for joining us to talk about an important issue. And Naima, I'll start with you to put this in perspective for people who don't know. We talk about food deserts. What are they, and why is it such an issue, in particular here in Indianapolis?
Absolutely. Well, like you said, food deserts are areas defined by the USDA in urban areas in which low-income residents live at least a mile away from a grocery store, a large supermarket. They also affect rural areas. In rural areas, they're defined as being more than 10 miles away from a large supermarket. And, you know, Indianapolis is ranked worst in the nation in food deserts, and this has a lot of serious implications from a public health perspective. We know that low access areas are intrinsically tied to high chronic disease, higher rates of obesity, things like this, as well as, you know, economic issues, depressed economies, higher unemployment rates, and things like that.
Yeah, and in particular, the east side of Indianapolis ranked as that worst in the nation, something obviously no one wants to have. So it's access, it's walkability, it's transportation, whatever it might be, to healthy food or access to food alternatives.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. As you look at the Indiana Statehouse, there are a couple of bills making their way through. One, Senate Bill 277, is the Healthy Food Access Initiative, really creating a program. Talk about this bill and how you think it'll...
Yeah, absolutely. Senate Bill 277, authored by Senator Randy Head from Logansport. It's based on a healthy food financing initiative model. And this model is based off of a program that was introduced in Pennsylvania in 2004. And it's based on the idea of, we're asking the state for a one-time appropriation, but then after that, the implementing organization, which in our case would be the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority, would leverage private and public sources to grow that fund into something that could be available for loans and grants, not just for grocery stores or corner stores, but for farmers markets, farm stands, things like that.
Really engaging community. And Sunny, as you look at this important issue, why is it, in your view, is it a business issue?
So healthy food is really the foundation of a healthier workforce. So just as employers are spending significant dollars on wellness programs for their existing workforce, we need to address the future workforce and the current workforce that's not being tapped. So we see this broadly as an opportunity to really extend out for the community a healthy option, lending to healthier candidates for work placement, and then ultimately through this financing opportunity, social entrepreneurship, creating small businesses in the communities that are needed.
Yeah, so talk a little bit more about that, because you're really talking about engaging the community and enabling, I guess, the community to help itself as well. In what ways, how would you do that? And are other businesses getting on board with this?
I think that's a great question. So I think when we look at it from a traditional business perspective, we have distribution, scalability, all of the costs that we're looking at to build a sustainable business. Larger grocery chains may not see that as a sustainable opportunity to build in these smaller areas, or I shouldn't say smaller areas, but really in these neighborhoods of need. So from that perspective, we look at it as educating on almost an entrepreneurship toolkit to engage neighborhood residents to be part of the solution. So thereby creating an incubator to foster further small business. Companies around the state can participate by leveraging customer relationship management tools to manage literally the residents coming in to buy food, inventory management systems, all the technology aspects of that. Then we look at the larger grocery distribution supply chain in being a feeder into these small businesses.
Naima, we're talking about Indianapolis here, but this is truly a statewide issue.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing that we did to prepare for this legislative session is we traveled around the state. We held local town halls in Gary, we held one in Evansville, and South Bend, and Fort Wayne, and Jasper, Indiana. And we really talked to community members about what their needs were and what the kind of barriers and challenges they faced when it came to food access. And there's no one size fits all solution. Different communities face different challenges, and that's what's so important about this legislation, is that it's really adaptable for different communities.
We'll be following it very closely. Naima Gardner, also Sunny Liu, thanks for being here. Absolutely. We'll be following this important story, so we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for watching Inside Indiana Business on YouTube. For the latest statewide business news, be sure to visit InsideIndianaBusiness.com and subscribe to our free daily e-newsletters by clicking on the link.